everybody. I'm Hillary Atkin from the Atkin Report, and I'm excited to welcome Parijita Bastola from The Voice to this edition of Hillary's Happy Hour. Parijita, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
It's so good to see you, and congratulations on your four-chair turn after your blind audition performing Labyrinth's Jealous.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I love your video, so I'm super excited.
Well, thank you so much. Well, during your blind, John turned first, and then Camila and Gwen, and your family could be seen urging Blake to go in. But
Yeah.
what was going through your head as you listened to them fight like crazy for you? And then how were you making your decision on which coach to go with?
So it was really, really crazy. Before, going on stage, I think everyone who was going through the blind audition kind of has like an idea of like who they're gonna pick and like who you're gonna go with. I think you just like naturally like rationalize, all right, if this happens, I'm gonna do this. If this happens, I'm gonna do this. And in my mind, I was like, I just need John to turn. I need John to turn. Everything will be okay. I will be fine. I'll be set. Um, and it was just I was so lucky to have John be the first person to turn for me because after that, everything was like, you know, I just felt already at ease. I mean, like I did want, my goal was to have a four-chair turn. So I think I did like, I think it was clear by my aunt's Blake, turn around. That like my whole family and I were all anticipating a hopefully, like a four-chair turn. And oh my God, it was just so insane. Um, I feel like my family has just been so overjoyed and like they're so proud of me and it's been really, really cool. And being able to like picking between the four of them, I think I already knew that I was gonna pick John, but Camila was making some like really strong points and she kind of was like using the like she was also Cuban and she was like uses a lot of her heritage and like what she performs and sings and wears and she's like making a lot of like interesting connections between the two of us that made me feel like, oh my God, I feel super seen by her. And that's why like I looked over to my parents where I was like, like who should I pick? And I think they put me in my place because they reminded me like you want John from the start, you want John. So like I feel like I was like, okay, no, John's the right choice. And so I'm really glad I picked John. Yeah.
Yeah, they were unanimous in that. And what was really fun when you were done is you gave each of the coaches some beautiful beads from
Ah.
Nepal. And you're the first Nepalese American to compete on The Voice. What responsibility do you feel because of that?
There is a very much like lack of like South Asian representation all over the board. Recently there's been a lot of TV shows like Never Have I Ever. There's been like so many like new introductions to the South Asian people. And you see a lot of like in Bridgerton there was like new like South Asian, South Indian, characters and like there's a lot of like Indian representation and what you don't see is a lot of like Nepalese people. So I feel like having a Nepalese woman, a Nepali woman go onto a show this big and be able to tell their story and express like even on my episode they show the geography of Nepal, is in between India and China. It really put the Nepalese people like out there and I feel like I've gotten so much love and support from Nepal and the people from Nepal that it is so validating being a Nepalese American, having both my identities as, you know, I am very much Nepali. I grew up, it was my first language, it's the food that I eat, it's the clothes that I wear. And then, I was born in America, so I do have these American values and having both Nepal and America support me like this, it is just a very validating experience. And I do feel like, responsibility because I am teaching a lot of Americans about my culture and what Nepali people do. So and being a Nepalese American, I'm not like, you know, I wasn't born in Nepal, so I'm not the most like biggest expert. I definitely am not the most expert person to be talking about Nepal, but being able to even tell what like the small traditions my family do or like the things that we wear, even if it's not, the most culturally biggest thing, in Nepal, it still feels like I am sharing a part of like a little bit of Nepalese culture to the American people. So yeah, I feel like I'm doing the best I can, and it's really fun.
So, Parijita, you've said your family has been such huge fans of The Voice that they would close the restaurant down on Monday nights to watch the show. But I wanted to ask you from your own experience so far, what kind of support have you received from fans and your hometown?
The community at my school has just been so supportive. They've you know, been like announcing on the announcements. It's all over like posters at school. Like it just really is so cool to be having the support. And I feel like my identity at school has like a lot to do with being a singer. And it's something that like I feel like everyone kind of expected from me. Like it was always like, oh, Bridget, you're gonna go out there someday. You're gonna like if there's a senior superlative and I'm a senior, you know, like I feel like you'd be like most likely to get famous. Like that's what everyone was like, you're gonna be famous someday, you're gonna be famous someday. So I feel like I lived up to the expectation that my school was like giving me, and that was super funny. And I don't know. My school was really like hype in sports and like music. Like they're very much like really into that kind of stuff. And so they've been really supportive.
Parijita, I want to thank you so much for taking time out to be with me on Hillary's Happy Hour. And as we wrap up, I want to lift a glass to you and raise a toast to your continued success on The Voice.
Thank you. This toast to you, Hillary.
Cheers.